Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is BachelorClues, and we're fresh off of Golden Bachelorette's Fantasy Suites episode.
Are you saying fantasy in a question mark because there was no fantasy?
There was no fantasy. It was more of a Suites episode. We have got a lot of news.
That snorkel kiss underwater with Guy was pretty passionate. You just wanted to be part of that thing.
Those manta rays sure did. We are going to be bringing you all the news today, all those gains, all those parasocial plays, the top 5 parasocial plays of the week. We're going to be bringing you some parasocial creatures, and we got screams, of course.
I got to say, the parasocial plays were better than this week's game.
This week's game was the weakest of all of the games so far this season. I think Hometowns was even better. We'll get to
100%.
it. We have a state of the game that is all about fantasy suites and the role they play in our beloved game. And if this Joan Vassos fantasy suites lived up to expectations, or even to the rich tradition of what the fantasy suites is. I don't think it did.
And how you do no sex right.
Yeah, because some players have done it. But before we get to any of that, we got a little bit of business. We had a costume party. If you follow Game of Roses, you know we call costumes TOTS. That's TOT. That stands for trick or treat. And it describes a play that anyone can make in our beloved game by wearing a costume, usually in their limo exits. We talked about some very famous ones last week, obviously. Alexis Waters as the shark dolphin. Alex Dillon as the slow-moving sloth in season 23.
Yeah, if you want our top 10 to 15 of those, go check out our Twibbin last week.
Exactly. And we're going to post a couple of them on our social media as well. But we had a great turnout at our watch party last night. We're recording this on Thursday. The watch party was Wednesday night, of course, the same night that the Dodgers won the World Series. So we got to watch the tail end of that, which was fantastic, and then move into Golden Bachelorette. And so many people came out in great costumes. Night. Yeah, it was fantastic.
It's a magical night.
I agree.
Please, if you are in the Chicago Clout, meet up at Greystone Tavern. And if you're in LA, join us at 33 Taps in West Hollywood. The Chicago Clout meeting is hosted by Pit Insider Lily. Thank you, Lily. And the TOT costumes from last night were out of this world. I couldn't believe some of the things that I witnessed. And we had people dressed as, well, who were our winners, Clues?
The winners were a Hakeem and Goldie the Spider dynamic duo. We had a guy dressed as Hakeem and a lady dressed as Goldie the Spider. Hakeem had the balloons. He was Hakeem's
limo exit with the balloons.
It was unreal.
Like the movie Up. It was shocking.
I'm still wearing some of my TOT. If you can see this in the video, I have.
Oh, so am I.
Some tattoos on my arms, just like the great one.
It's a snake.
Oh, nice.
I was Rob from Love Island USA season 6, the Snake Wrangler. And today, Clues, I dressed in a special TOT just for you.
Oh, thank you.
It is Halloween today.
It is, yeah.
Today I am dressed as an alien.
Oh, thank you.
It's happening. I have come to you, Clues. I knew you were the one to come to.
Disclosure is going to happen, I believe, in 2027 on a mass scale, but I do think this next year and 2026. 2027, I think, is going to be a year for a lot of wild shit happening in humanity. Tune in. We'll be covering it all, especially if it's on reality TV.
We'll be covering it all.
We won't be.
Mostly if it's on reality TV, though.
Yeah, it probably won't be wild shit in reality TV. I think it's going to be wild shit more on the front of, aliens in quotes, non-human intelligences. I think we're going to get some crazy evidence released by various world governments, including crystal clear photos of these things. I think we are also going to get
crystal clear.
Yes, I think we're going to get.
How will I know an AI didn't make it?
I mean, I guess you won't. Do you question that about everything now? Do you think the last episode of Golden Bachelorette was made entirely by an AI?
I, amongst many others, I'm sure, got tricked by the Pope jacket photo.
Yeah, that was the first one that for me was
that was like a decade ago.
I thought it was real. A couple of years, but yeah. Let's move on to one more bit of business here. We do have Love is Blind season 7 has just concluded. The reunion came out. Think what you will of it. I watched all of it on my Clues Corner, which you can get to at our Patreon. Yeah, it was interesting. They did some interesting things in it. I'll say that much. Not enough in one direction, probably too much in some other directions. But again, you can watch it along with me in our Patreon at patreon.com/Game of Roses. And of course,
I liked that Ashley and her partner were still fighting. It's good to see that a year later when most of the people's emotions have died down.
What you're trying to do on that reunion is you're not trying to get closure with any of these people. It's your final attempt to kind of make your case to the fourth audience that you are the winner of whatever that fight was. And that person is a piece of shit. And you are the person who should. Exactly. Follow me. Don't follow them. That's essentially what that reunion is for.
I died at the Nick 3 goals for 90 days thing where he's like, get famous on Love is Blind.
But see, like, this is what I hate about the reunions. So and they do this all the time. They trot out Nick and Vanessa Lachey to be the kind of moralistic judges of everybody who's there. And you shouldn't have done that. And how dare you? And if you come in here wanting to be famous, that's for the wrong reasons. And you're a piece of shit. Okay. If I was Nick, I would have been like, yep. And you didn't? No, I didn't come here for that. Delete your Instagram then, Hannah.
Delete your
fucking Instagram.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like target Vanessa, be like, you're married to a famous person.
But they're hosts. They're not coming on that show to look for love. Like they're absolved of it. All of those other players, though, if that's such a big deal to you that he wanted to be famous from a TV show that he's going on, delete your Instagrams. Don't come to the reunion. Don't go on Perfect Match. I never want to see you on reality TV again if you have a problem with fame. It's just such to me, the argument holds no water.
I don't know why they do this in both Bachelor and Love is Blind, shaming people for being influencers when this is the game of influencers. Nobody's doing this who's not going to be an influencer or at least try.
Yes, of course. It is just, it's mind numbing to me that we're in the year 2024 and these players are still having to like pretend like it's a bad thing to want fame. That's the only reason they're doing it. If they find love, that is secondary in every case on all of these shows. And I'm not saying they don't find love. Obviously, some people do, but it's this idea that it's either or. You're either here to be famous or here to find love. That is never the truth. The truth is always it's both. And if you do find love, that's like a cherry on top. But fame is the primary reason you're coming on here because you're guaranteed to be on a TV show. You're not guaranteed to find love. The fame
you're
is
not
like
guaranteed to be on it.
Well, not in Love is Blind. They could cut you out. You could be
at the Women Tell All.
No, but she was in the show at the very least. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, when you sign that paper, you're guaranteed to at least be in a situation where cameras are on you and footage is rendered. Now, what you do with that,
you definitely have a very good shot at it. But I don't know if you have seasons like that Love is Blind UK season where 14 out of the 15 couples are getting engaged. That part where that error basically where Nick is the reveal of Nick's notebook thing reminded me so much of Ryan Folders from that Ultimate Girl Gang season.
Sure.
The guy who was found with a how to get screen time on The Bachelorette, like Wikipedia printed out.
Yeah, it's always just a mistake when you see a player get confronted with that and they have to like acquiesce and like, whoa. Like I wasn't serious. It was just a joke. Like I wasn't coming on here to get famous. No player is ever like, yeah, of course I thought about getting famous. So did you, and you. If that's not the case.
Thomas Jacobs, he said, I did think about becoming the Bachelor.
Yeah. And he got villainized for it. That's what I'm saying. It's like they never turn the tables on these players and be like, we all think about it. For you to sit here and take the moral high ground because you don't want to get famous, like, fuck you. You're all here doing the same thing. At any rate, let's get into the show, shall we, PaceCase?
And that's our first state of the game.
Yeah. Sorry, we went off on a little tangent, a little mini
Thanksgiving
diatribe on the Love is Blind season 7 reunion, which overall I thought was pretty boring.
I mean, I was excited for it. I was mostly excited about seeing Brittany and Leo, and they were all right.
That was boring. They came out and they're like, we're friends.
Talking about him sipping the drink being the ick. I'm like, people need bigger icks.
I don't know. People have their icks. I don't ick shame. Let's move on, shall we? PaceCase.
Let's go.
This is
Game of Roses. State of the game.
all right. So our state of the game is unfortunately about fantasy suites because Joan rendered a fantasy suites performance in the season of Golden Bachelorette that we have never really seen. That was perhaps the most boring fantasy suites ever produced in the history of our beloved game for a variety of reasons. Let's go through them, shall we? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First, I would say the obstacles that are presented for each of the three men are very written and are not actual in any way. It was Pascal leads a big life, maybe too big. It was
his emotional walls.
He has emotional walls. Guy is perhaps a little further along in the love level development than Joan is. Can she catch up? And Chalk,
Uneven love levels.
uneven levels, and Chalk is potentially too good to be true. He's too good.
I mean,
that's the
is
wall.
true though.
Yeah, but I mean,
Chalk can jack up anything you want, Clues.
He jacked up his own goodness too much, I guess. So right out of the gate, when she's relaying these kind of things, you're just like, whatever, this is a wash. None of these things matter. They're all fake. That said,
We had, by the way, this is a minor minutia note, but that Guy fantasy suite date was them on a boat. They were on a boat for the hometown date. Like,
that's
you're not
what he
going to put
does.
them in any other scenario.
That's right.
That date, there was literally you didn't learn a single thing about either one of them. It was, and part of what makes this a weaker fantasy suite is we're so disgusted with the casting that we're like, okay, I don't want to be watching a fantasy suite date with the person who had someone file a restraining order against them.
Yeah. I mean, we're now left in the exact same situation this season that we were on Jen Tran's season, which is the two of the two finalists, 50% of them have some kind of restraining order troubles in their past. And it's just like a mirror image. I don't believe so.
Are we going to have two restraining order ring winners back to back?
I don't know.
I think it's got to be Chalk, but
I think it probably does too. But even if it's not, it doesn't matter. You have two restraining order finalists back to back.
Right.
That's unbelievable to me. And it's the fact that there's more information coming out. I mean, none of it is corroborated, and I don't even know how it could be, but it seems very likely to me that they knew about this, the restraining order passed, and cast him anyway.
Wait, what do you mean? Where's that information from?
I've seen it talked about in a couple of podcasts, including Vial Files, I believe. And it just seems like that is fitting. It seems like they would have known about this. At any rate, I can't back that up. Him? Yes, because he didn't get the restraining order. So they're like, okay, well, he didn't get it though.
Sure. But I'm like, it's not like you have a Jack or a Pascal here. It's Guy.
Yeah.
He's giving none. The one
that we're seeing in the edit.
The Mansion Men song and the thing with Charles.
Yeah, those were his two biggest plays for sure. I agree. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. The real reason this fantasy suites, in my opinion, fell flat was because of how Joan handled the no sex in the fantasy suites, which is a fine play to make. Plenty of other leads have made that play and overtly stated this is how it's going to be. Yes. And we'll go through them. But the way Joan did it, to say they were going to take the beds out and made sure that we knew that from the beginning. So there was no mystery about, is she going to have sex with these guys or not? We knew flatly she was not. But then we also don't get footage of her. You
could have put that mystery in if you wanted to. They did it with Colton. Of course. Is she going to break her virginity vow or not?
They did it with Colton. Let's remember back to the great one, Nick Vial, season 21. We have
of course we got to go there first.
Well, that's where we learned the most about our beloved game in the season that had it all.
It's so strange you wearing the tattoos during this. You should have the wig on.
Listen to me talk about Nick Vial.
Bring us back to season 21 through the wig.
Where did I put my wig? Hang on a minute. I'll get my wig.
Okay, yes.
You've demanded
this wig to the watch party.
This is a part of my talk.
And then at a certain point, it was on the baby. And
yeah, I had a little baby.
He took pictures with people and people requested whether the wig be on the baby or on Clues. Different demands.
And I obliged all demands.
Yeah.
So in Vial's season, we now know that he did not have sex with Rachel Lindsay. We now know that he did not have sex with Raven Gates. It is
What do you mean?
believed.
He gave her her first orgasm.
Well, that's what we saw, but we know that's not true through their podcasts, their various appearances.
No, I
So-
know this isn't true, but
On
it
that
was
season,
a wild montage.
it was on that season. The producers made a package, the morning after package of Raven Gates, where she was skipping through the town to a kind of like Walking on Sunshine type song, essentially, conveying that she had her first orgasm with Nick Viall the night prior. We now know they had no sexual congress, but the show
Frolicking.
presented it as though they did. And granted, I get Joan doesn't want to even have that idea presented because she has grandkids and whatever, that's fine. But to not even have the morning after takes also away the idea that they stayed up all night talking. What it looks like is she went and hung out with him for an hour or two and then went back to her hotel room and was in bed by 10 p.m. That is what this fantasy suites gave to me, is like, they might have hung out for a few extra hours, certainly not all night, because the morning after shots are the guys alone. It's Guy Gansert walking around by himself. It's Chalk jacking up a journal with his thoughts from the prior night.
I mean, there just are ways to handle it differently. And I
Yeah.
wonder if you wouldn't get away with something like that Raven Gates orgasm montage today. Like, I feel like there's just kind of a different discourse about how we talk about things, and it would be weird to like imply sex acts. I like to think.
I mean, that Viall's season aired in January of 2017, shot in October, November of 2016. Obviously, a lot going on with the election and everything. But yes,
A decade ago.
the
Can you
world
believe that?
a decade ago, 2017.
Almost.
Huh?
2016?
I mean,
We're almost in 2025.
yeah,
That's
there's
a
a lot of
decade.
almost here. We're almost in 2025. That was almost in 2016. And at any rate, I'm simply saying that Fantasy Suites for me is like one of the most important games all season for a variety of reasons, obviously. But one of the key elements is you have to convey, whether the lead has sex with them or not, that they have spent an amount of time with each other that they have not yet gotten to have because of the structure of the show and how the game is manufactured. I did not get that feeling from Joan. I don't need to even have the mystery of like, are they going to have sex or not? You can remove that, but I need to feel like they spent the night together doing something, talking, staring into each other's eyes, jacking up journals, whatever. And it just wasn't there.
I suggested that they should just do literally the same thing, but have them have twin beds on the opposite side of the room.
Yeah.
Or make a big deal of like they took the bed out of the room, so they're gonna like picnic on the floor, and then you maybe see them like go back to their own rooms or something, like something that makes it seem like there's actual romance going on.
I agree.
We've seen no sex before. I mean, we saw it recently with Zach Shallcross, the oopsie. Where
I mean, but there
said,
was sex.
I shall not have sex. That's a good way of doing it. Twist. There is sex. Twist. He tells someone about it.
Is it a good way of doing it? Ask Clayton Eckerd if it's a good way of doing it.
He was advised by Sean Lowe to do this. Sean Lowe had no sex.
Yep.
He was a, what is it called? Born again
virgin. Yeah. Yep.
Born again virgin.
Power of Jesus Christ.
But you know, they still found ways to make these seasons interesting and the fantasy suites interesting. At least learn something new. All I learned this whole episode was that Joan thinks that breadfruit is odd, and she likes to get jarred in a ATV.
Yeah. She hates breadfruit. She fucking hates. Don't you put breadfruit in front of Joan Vassos.
That's going to be on the deathbed.
It was a weird one to include. I agree.
Breadfruit was odd.
It's like who you cast as a lead is a huge part of the success of the season. You know, how are they going to be able to navigate the kind of format of the game and deliver an entertaining version of it that we've already seen at this point, 20 whatever years of. Almost 50 combined seasons of Bachelor, Bachelorette, Golden, etc. So, you know, you have to have a lead who can do that in an entertaining way. Joan can here and there, but I think she lacks ultimately what we're finding out in late season is she lacks a little bit of the like vivaciousness or something,
the drama,
the like engagement factor. Yeah. It's just not there. And when you get into these final moments, even when, Pascal
goes home,
self-eliminating, she seemed kind of unbothered by it. It's like we need to see some real emotion coming out of these moments, be that positive, like the connections are growing and, oh my God, I'm falling in love, or like sad. So, I mean, when she got rid of Jordan Heller in Hometowns, not even a tear was shed. She immediately walked back in and was like, all right, guys, on to Tahiti. Like she doesn't care is what it comes across as. And if you're not engaging on an emotional
I only
level,
kept that guy to save production money by 2 hometowns in Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody in Chicago.
We'll get to him. He's in the news.
He is in the news. But I just thought that this Fantasy Suites was completely lackluster. And I think it has to do a little bit with producing, a little bit with Joan, maybe a 50-50 kind of mix. Like you're saying, Lizzie, you can certainly do Fantasy Suites without sex, without even like the hint of it or the mystery of it successfully. Sean Lowe is like that season 17 is arguably the greatest season in the history of Bachelor. And he had sex with no one. And it worked.
And it worked. And for me, I'm jumping back from Love Island USA into this. And I'm like, Love Island USA, people have sex in a room where there's a bunch of other people sleeping.
Yeah, 6 inches away from each other.
To no bed Vassos. Mm-hmm. It's just tough. We saw even on Love is Blind, Ramses and Marissa having sex before even the first night.
Yes. And it does a weird thing to like the idea of this relationship. Obviously, all relationships are based on whatever they're based on. They're all unique, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But the thing we're being sold in Bachelor is that you are going to find your soulmate in every way. They're going to be intellectually your equal or your complement, however you perceive it, your emotional equal or complement, and your physical equal or complement where it comes to chemistry play.
You get to have sex with 3 of them to see who's the best.
Yeah. And like, it's fine to not do that, but to present it in a way that completely removes any of the chemistry play. Like you're saying, we got to see her kind of make out with Guy underwater and Chalk got a little bit of a kiss kind of thing. It completely excises that component of this relationship. And if the idea of Golden is to say that like you can still find romantic love at this age after having had these, in some cases, horrible traumas and tragedies happen to you with your former spouse, et cetera, et cetera.
That's the promise of the show. That's the promise of night 1 where, who was it? Jonathan, who like pretends he's an old guy, but then he's doing push-ups or whatever. It just, and I feel for Joan. Like, I think that it is physically draining to be a lead, and it must even be more so in your 60s.
Yeah. There's like kind of a lack, I think, in the Golden players. There's a little bit of a lack of like concern about fame, caring about that component of it. Like, they don't really give a shit if this is a hit show or not. I think they literally are there being like, am I going to marry this person? And so they don't give a shit about any of the other things that make the show good. And so because your lead isn't really concerned with producing like a good season with you. Yeah, it is. It is. You have to look. I mean, we've talked about this a million times. Most of the show, if you're a lead, is lying about liking all these people. On night 1, you kind of pick out who your finalists are. And then most of what you do is pretending that you're still interested in these other people that you're not interested in. And I don't think she's good at doing that.
He knew it was Vanessa on night 1. He gave his FIMP to Rachel Lindsay.
Yeah, he did, or the producers did. You tell me. At any rate.
You tell me.
I think the producers
Emily Maynard also, I believe, like walked him to the door at Fantasy Suites. We have a rich history of no sex. Season 1, we had the great wall player Shannon
Oliver
absolutely outraged at the concept of Fantasy Suites.
Refused Fantasy Suites, refused a fucking kiss. Alex
And
Michelle
literally
tried to
was
kiss
like,
her.
Oh, what if you picked up the card for the other ones?
Yeah, she was super pissed about it. But that was also season 1, admissible back then because nobody knew the format of the show. But also in that season, the very first fantasy suite in the history of our beloved game was Amanda Marsh, who wound up being the ring winner of that season. Not only did they have sex and openly talk about how she liked to dress up and all this kind of stuff, they ordered a thing called dessert in bed or something.
Chocolate in the sheets.
Chocolate in the sheets or something like this.
Sex in the sheets.
The hotel, Sex in the Sheets it was. The hotel brought them chocolate sauce and ice cream and rubber sheets for the bed. They indulged in all of it, took Polaroids that were in the show of the endeavors, the dalliances as they were. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was the tone that Fantasy Suites started with. And I think a lot of people forget that in terms of like
20 years ago, 2 decades ago.
2002, March 25th is when that season began airing. At any rate, that is our state of the game. We had a fantasy-less Fantasy Suites, and I thought it was presented poorly. And it just, unfortunately, was the most boring episode so far for me of this entire season.
I wanted to see those morning portions. I really did.
Me too. Because that's where you get like them waking up together, whether they had sex or not, is like a kind of intimate moment. It at least conveys the idea that they got through it. I will never
forget when Joey forklifted Kelsey in that morning portion. I was like, okay, I guess I know who the ring winner is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or when Colton left Tayshia only to come back to her in tears. And then she had to STCO him. That shoulder to cry on. Okay, let's move on. We have to. We only have so much time in these programs. We're moving on now to
This Week in
Games. All right, we got to talk about these ratings again. We don't have the ratings for the Fantasy Suites episode just yet, but we do have the ratings for last week's hometown episodes. Joan Vassos pulled a 0.32 with 2.8 million raw viewers. So that 0.32 is actually the second best rated episode all season after the second episode, which got a 0.34. But all these episodes are coming in between 0.27 and 0.34. Absolutely abysmal.
How many people is that?
What's that?
How many people is that? 300,000?
No, because that's of the total viewer block. I don't know mathematically what that is. She got 2.8 million raw viewers, which is about as much as she got on night 1. But that 0.32 is how many 18 to 49 year olds of the people watching TV that night are watching that show. Not many.
So it's like a third of 2.8.
Something like that.
900,000?
No, because I think it refers to the amount of people watching TV at that time, not just that show.
Interesting.
If you go across the board and you compare this to the other network shows, we have Survivor coming in first place on CBS with a 0.62, Chicago Med coming in second place with a 0.43 on NBC, The Masked Singer coming in third place with a 0.34 on Fox, and of course the Golden Bachelorette bringing up the rear, fourth place out of 4 with that 0.32. Not good. People at ABC are not happy about this.
But you are crushing Sullivan's Crossing on the CW with a 0.08. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
And now
congrats
for the gains, which in some cases are more than those of the total ratings. We have Joan Vassos. She has gained 6.9K on Instagram this week, bringing her to 97.9K. Scratching that door of the 100K club. Are you still betting against me that she won't get in the 100K club?
No, she will, yes, for sure. No?
She will. She will. Clues finally agrees with me. And on TikTok, she gained 12.4K, bringing her to 95.7K total on TikTok. Love to see that TikTok number jumping like that. I think she's withheld her best content for now. And now for the top 5 Instagram gains, coming in at number 5, we have night 1 player John Jack Leccioni.
He wasn't night
1,491. Not what night 1, but
he was what, week 3?
No, I think 2.
No, they stuck him around because he was singing songs and shit. Hang on.
I think he only made it to week 2.
Well, maybe he was an early sad dismissal, of course. Coming in fourth place with those gains is Mr. Legs himself, Jordan Heller, with a plus 1,657. Nice.
And third place goes to the Jackman himself, Charles Chalk Chapel. He gained 3.1K this week on Instagram.
And in second place with a 3.3K gain is Anderson, the whispering father of season 28's ring winner, Kelsey Anderson. I hope that you like following me on Instagram.
Oh my God, the disrespect. And that gold place gain this week goes to a swan song exit bump for Pascal Hugui, gained 3,874 Instagram followers this week.
Wow.
Bon
nice
chance.
Instagram.
Well, I know why he gained so much this week. In addition to his swan song exit bump, he did an extraordinary parasocial play we will get to.
Yeah, his Halloween play was off the charts.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. Now for the top 5 Instagram chart. We have coming in 5th, that boat guy, Guy Gansert. 6,279 total Instagram followers. Not good. Not even in the 10K club.
I know. And he's a finalist. And in fourth place, we have Pascal Hugui with 10.4K followers. Come to my salon in Chicago. I cut your hair.
I saw someone at the salon dressed as him doing a voluntary nudity play as well.
What?
She had a... I didn't even put this in, but she had a, like when people wear those muscle costumes, that and just like wearing tidy whities, holding a vacuum cleaner.
Nice.
And maybe Prada shoes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in third place on that top 5 Instagram chart is Charles Chalk Chapel at 20,000.5K.
Second place is Charles L. with 36.3K. Still very much in that conversation to be Golden Bachelor next year.
36.3K. He is right on the heels of our first place Instagram player. That is Mark Anderson with 36.9K. I mean, they are 0.6K away from each other. That's like one parasocial play away from the top spot.
Welcome to my Instagram.
Charles dropped that Halloween costume.
What? He did?
I'm just thinking of parasocial plays Charles should do to take that top spot.
I agree. Well, we'll see if he does it. We're recording this on Halloween. Maybe he'll drop it today. Mm-hmm. Now let's move to that portion of our program in which we discuss all the tids that are Fitz print. This is
Bachelor Nation News.
Up first in Bachelor Nation News, Jen Tran's dancing days come to a ghoulish end on the most recent Halloween episode of Dancing with the Stars. Tran and her fellow celebrity dancers celebrated the spirit of Halloween with dance routines inspired by their biggest fears. Snakes, boogeymen, psychopathic killers, dolls, and Tran herself was none other than the mythological creature I most identify with in real life, a vampire.
Tran and her partner, Sasha Farber, fanged the night away in a contemporary dance to Olivia Rodrigo's Vampire that netted them a 28 out of 30 with 3 bonus dance-off points. Despite a solid score, it wasn't enough to keep Tran safe from the true death.
Thank you.
Love that.
The gaze master Joey Graziadei and his partner Jen Johnson donned a puppet and puppet master look for their Argentine tango to Royson Murphy's Ramalama Bang Bang that saw them awarded with 29 out of 30 points and those 3 bonus points to edge out Tran by 1 point, meaning Grazi will move on to the next round.
We are sad to see Jen Tran knocked out of Dancing with the Stars, but we still think there are big things ahead for the first Asian American Bachelorette in the world of reality TV. And we will still be rooting for Grazi to bring home the mirror ball to Bachelor Nation one more time.
And a small side note, next week, there is no new episode of Dancing with the Stars because Tuesday, November 5th, is, of course, the U.S. presidential election. Up next, Bachelor Nation News.
Get your ballots in.
Mr. Legs, Jordan Heller has been spotted with a player from the first season of The Golden Bachelor. That is not Joan Vassos. That's right. The fourth place finisher of Joan's season was spending some time with the person we all thought was going to be the first Golden Bachelorette, Leslie Fima.
Heller took in a Los Angeles Football Club game with FEMA on Sunday, October 27th, and FEMA didn't miss the opportunity to post an Instagram story selfie with Heller, which he reposted.
The Golden Duo posed in matching LAFC jerseys, which featured their last names on the back. Heller shared a video featuring the customized merch in a follow-up Instagram story, as well as a photo he took with Magic Johnson and Will Ferrell at the game. And he captioned that, quote, "things that happen in LA."
Was this post merely a tease of the fourth audience? Was it a glimpse into a Golden Bachelorette season that could have been? Or was it the soft launch of a new golden couple? Time will tell.
Mr. Legs wasn't the only Golden Season Mansion man posting posts to get the rumor mill going. The Golden Whisperer, Ganderson, raised a few eyebrows this week with a feature role in a post from none other than One Tree Hill actress Barbara Woods. Woods posted a main grid image of her and Mark in coordinated costumes next to her daughter, Natalie Alyn Lind, at a Halloween party.
Loved both of these plays so much. Yeah. Barbara was dressed as Cinderella and Anderson was dressed as Prince Charming, with Natalie dressed up as Grogu. Woods captioned the photo, "When Cinderella and Prince Charming have a baby." Mark and Barbara haven't officially confirmed or denied their relationship status.
Smart of them, though, to keep it in the Disney family of characters. All of these are Disney characters.
Sounds like you are already on the employment roster, perhaps. Yeah.
Hello.
Did Disney set this up?
Yeah.
To promote his season.
Bob Iger. Can I get Bob Iger on the phone? This is Mark Anderson. We're thinking about doing a joint costume play with two Disney characters and Grogu. Can we have some money for that, please? Up next in Bachelor Nation News,
Bob Iger coordinated this.
Yeah, of course.
Great.
Up next in Bachelor Nation, he probably took the photos. Up next in Bachelor Nation News, the Beastiverse is expanding after racking up back-to-back New York Times bestsellers with her memoir, God Bless This Mess, and her first romance novel, Mistakes We Never Made. The Hannah Brown has announced the upcoming release of her second romance novel, The 4 Engagement Rings of Sybil Rain.
Alongside a main grid video of this gore girl reading her new book at a coffee shop, she wrote, "It's official. The 4 Engagement Rings of Sybil Rain will be out 6/24/25. The story follows the runaway bride character from Brown's prior book, Mistakes We Never Made. Will there be a third novel in the series? Time will tell. Congrats to the Beast on her next book in what we hope will be a long career as a romance author."
I'm curious to read it.
Was there ever a follow-up to DLH's romance novel?
I don't know. I don't know. God, I don't know.
It's time.
I haven't thought about that in a long time.
Sorry.
And finally, in Bachelor Nation News, Big Brother Season 24 champion Taylor Hale launched a new endeavor this week called Reality Stars for Harris. The project is seeking to attract reality stars who are supporting Kamala Harris in the upcoming presidential election, who will join a live call this Sunday, November 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern, just 2 days before the election. What reality stars will Hale have on that live call? You're going to have to tune in to find out. You can get all the details by following the Reality Stars for Harris Instagram account at Stars for Harris. Very interesting. Jumping into the political game, trying to leverage some, I don't know who she's got on the roster.
Who do you think is the most likely Bachelor person to join this?
Oh, Dark Lord Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Lord Harrison, Andrew Firestone, Lorenzo Borghese.
The Mayor of Paradise.
James McCoy Taylor, Garrett Egarian.
Bleep that out, please.
I don't know. I don't know who they're going to have, who Taylor's going to be able to get on this call, but I'm curious, very curious to see.
Yeah, if anyone's listening to this, join it.
And we have a little bit of breaking news right now. As we're recording this just came across my news desk.
Ooh.
Traders, US Traders, season 3 has a release date, January 9th, which is right around the corner. We're going to get to see Gabby Windey, Wells Adams going head to head with all of the cast. We've gone through this cast a couple of times. There's a huge WWE wrestler who has 10 million Instagram followers. There is Bob, the drag queen, is on this season. There's a bunch of interesting players on this season.
Siesta Key player, yeah. Juliet.
Chriselle Staus is on this season.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. And it's January 9th. So it literally is right around the corner. We're going to come out of Golden. We're going to go into that about month and a half of an off season. And then you're just going to start having Trader season 3, Grant Ellis season 29 of Bachelor, Love is Blind season 8, the Minneapolis one. Those are all going to come out within that first about month and a half of 2025. I cannot wait.
Oh my God. I feel like I've been waiting years for this Minneapolis Love is Blind. I cannot wait for that. And also seeing all these Traders people. What?
Yeah, you have been. Your feelings are accurate. Yeah. It was announced, I think, a year and a half ago or something. Yeah. No, I mean, that's one of the problems with Love is Blind is that they shoot this shit fucking years ago, and then it comes out, and then they shoot a reunion a year after all these people have either broken up, gotten married, done whatever they've done.
They got to shoot the reunion right after. If you want to do one where you come back and do it, fine, but shoot it right after so that people are so mad.
The reunion should be shot the week after the weddings.
Yes. Why don't they do that?
I don't know. They have this production cycle. Look, I think Love is Blind is in a very dangerous situation right now. Just in my humble opinion.
Why? Because
they have this format, the US show. They have this format with how they shoot it and how long it takes to edit it and when Netflix releases it. And it's about a year. Mm-hmm. That has never been good. The show is a good format. That meeting through a wall type thing, not getting to see what they look like and all this. It's a great format. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of drama and it works, obviously. Yeah. They, some people have lasted. Their marriages have lasted. We've got the first Love is Blind baby now with Zach Wojtowski and Bliss Porizati. The problem is this, they're never going to change this because it worked so well in the beginning and it continues to work. It gets big ratings for them. And I think all of these big franchises are like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They aren't looking for ways to make it better because they don't need to, or they at least perceive that to be the case. But I think there's
you do need
things to make it better.
Actual truth of the situation. When you are competing with so many other shows at this point, you have to keep modernizing.
I agree.
Especially Bachelor. This is the slowest modernizer of all time.
Yeah.
What is not modern, though, are some of these parasocial plays, cutting edge parasocial plays this week. Halloween always provides one of the greatest parasocial weeks, and this year's Week of Demons did not disappoint. This is
the parasocial play of the week.
Will they, won't they couple and Love Island USA season 6 couple Serena and Cordell recreated the clueless characters in a 10-slide Instagram post going back and forth between professional photographs of the couple in their tots and images from the movie in the same outfits and poses. The caption reads, quote, "I hate when you call me woman." Eye roll emoji? What is that emoji? Eye roll emoji?
Eyes up emoji.
Eyes up emoji. Hashtag clueless. Camera emoji at JPW photo, makeup : at based Ken, hair : at K Harrington. Both look styled by : at Alani Blair. Custom green cardigan set : at Alani Blair. 1 million likes, 10.4K comments. Love Island's Serena didn't waste a moment not capitalizing on the spirit of Halloween. She not only did this professional photo shoot with her paramour, but she teamed up with Leah Kateb, I assume, and Janae to dress up as the Powerpuff Girls on Leah's TikTok as well. racking up 722.3K likes and 2.9 million views for a 7-second clip of their outfits. And Puff Choice reveals, this is fucking insane. 2.9 million views. That's Bachelor. They got as many views on that basically as Golden Bachelorette got.
It's insanity. This isn't even the highest view count that we saw this week. So it's unreal.
Wow.
I love that they have all become these superstars.
Yeah.
While the Love is Blind USA reunion this week offered very little in entertainment value, the clapbacks on social media by the players afterwards were giving. Marissa issued a 2-slide Instagram post-reunion response, black text on white background reading. I show up every day as my authentic self. I make mistakes. I say the wrong thing and sometimes stand by those who may not deserve it because authenticity matters more to me than curating an image. Ooh. At the reunion, I came without resentment towards Ramses or anyone else. For those who expected me to go off, know that I will always handle things my way. We've had many conversations since our breakup and I wish him well. As for Nick and Hannah, I've never justified her treatment of him. Watching the season, I was as surprised as anyone. On stage, I addressed a specific comment Nick made about her, a fact I know firsthand. Nick's dishonesty doesn't excuse Hannah's verbal abuse. Those are two separate issues. When her behavior was raised, I told her she was wrong, something I've done privately in interviews and on stage. I don't control the final edit and won't be blamed for others' silence. I'm no bully. I simply said what others wouldn't on camera. The caption reads, peace sign emoji, marked unsafe from the Love is Blind Season 7 reunion. I'm officially a statement in the notes app, girl. SMH, brown heart emoji, hashtag Love is Blind, hashtag Netflix series.
Marked unsafe from the Love is Blind Season 7 reunion. It's fucking hilarious.
It's so good.
Coming in as our number 3 top 5 parasocial plays of the week, the Glazeman Justin Glaze continued his artistic reel series on Instagram this week by painting a special Halloween card with the It Clown, Pennywise, pumpkins, and a little cute ghost on a playing card. 4.3K likes and 105K views. Love to see the Glazeman getting his due. You know, I always feel bad for the Glazeman, what they did to him in Katie Thurston's season, the disappearance of Justin Glaze. Yeah.
The Glazeman's paramour, Susie Evans, did not let Justin Glaze dominate the parasocial world entirely, however. She posted a perfect short reel meme to the audio, "Hey, how y'all doing?" in which she performs a disheveled stride of pride from a house to an Uber while dressed in sweatpants and heels. The chyron reads, when the Uber comes to pick you up the next morning. 195.2K likes, 7.3 million views.
Unreal.
Susie Evans is continuing to put out the best content in the biz and rack up that engagement.
That's unbelievable.
7 million.
God damn. It was a great video, though. I mean, she deserves it.
It was.
All these are strong plays. However, there can be only one winner of the top 5 parasocial plays of the week. Our parasocial play of the week goes to the Frenchman with his walls up, Pascal Ibgui. He demonstrated that despite his glaring in-game self-elimination error, he doesn't have walls in terms of costumery this week with an extraordinary Halloween costume. In one slide, I can't keep doing it. In a one-slide Instagram post, he posed in full taut as Joan Vassos, complete with luscious blonde wig, golden dress, golden fishnets, and golden strappy heels. The only way one can even see the original Pascal underneath all of this is his signature friendship bracelet stack. Ibgui was quieter earlier in the season, letting one of his daughters work as his TikTok emissary at first. However, his parasocial plays have been really stepped up for the playoffs, with last week's nudity talk catching our eye and then astounding us with this gorgeous tribute to his ex-paramour Joan Vassos. The caption reads, Pascal, will you accept this rose emoji? One eyebrow up emoji. Hashtag Halloween at Pascal Purell. It was a fantastic play.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely hilarious. takes a lot of courage to put on a costume like that and put it out there. But again, like you said, or like you wrote in this Pace case last week, he was walking around in his underwear. So we know that he has the courage.
Our play of the week? It might have been our play of the week last week too.
It should have been if not. But congrats to Pascal.
I hope
on
this
the
keeps
Parasocial Play of the Week.
escalating.
Me too.
Don't stop.
Me too. This week, we also had some great creature play in the Parasocial arena, coming from a little bit outside of Bachelor Nation. Leia Kateb showed off her horse on Instagram this week. Hannah Giles was doing an interpretive dance with some of her dogs this week. And unfortunately, they were losers to a little serpentine lizard. The Parasocial Creature of the Week award goes to a flying dragon lizard who crossed paths with Love Island Season 6's Rob Roush. Rob posted an Instagram reel to his main grid featuring himself shirtless, being amazed by the incredible luck required to encounter this creature, who he admits he has wanted to catch since childhood. Again, one of his childhood goals was to catch a flying dragon lizard. Okay. He has to then give us a brief description of the wing-like skin flaps that this creature has that make it so special before returning the lizard to the tree from whence it came. Congrats to Rob and to this incredible lizard on winning the Parasocial Creature of the Week.
I mean, the performance art, in my opinion, from this man does not stop.
I know.
It is constant. I couldn't believe this video. It timed out well with me rewatching the scene where he catches the spider and it crawls over his face in season. Yeah. And timed well with me dressing as him for Halloween.
I don't know. I don't know how much of it is an act or, whatever. Some of it certainly is, but he's great. All right, let's move on to our final portion of the program.
By the way, people apparently disagreed with me. Apparently he was being voted very low during the season.
Voted low in terms of?
Like popularity with people watching the show.
What? There was an episode I watched where it was him and Aaron, maybe. It was him and another guy were going to have a conversation somewhere.
It's gotta be Aaron.
It might have been Aaron. They were going to sit in one of the little couch areas where you have to walk up those steps, like 2 or 3 steps to get onto kind of a raised platform where the couches are. He walks up there and he just bends down, finds something on the ground, picks it up and just fucking throws it as hard as he can across the set. And you're just like, what? No one. What is that? What did he throw? What's going on? He will just take things out of the set and make entire bits of business that nobody else is even thinking of. He's operating at a high level. I've never seen
someone go have an emotional moment in the pool, under the lip of the pool. Yeah. It was
hiding himself.
It was iconic. All you can see of this man left is just one hand.
Yeah. The
holding
bug play.
Onto the side.
So much bug play.
Gorgeous.
All right. Let's move on.
Congrats, lizard.
Yes. Congrats to this lizard. In great company with the spider that was on Rob's face and the beetle that he picked up and made a player put on her hand to basically prove that she was down with the bugs. Let's move on to the final portion. It is for him. To the final portion of our program, in which PaceCase and I dive deep into the pit to issue forth our screams about how our fandom of Bachelor Nation and reality TV generally have drastically altered the very fabric of our personas. This is Screams from the Pit. What do you got, PaceCase?
Screams from the Pit. My scream this week is... Well, it happened last night. You might not be surprised, but we had our watch party for Golden Bachelorette Fantasy Suites, and it got preempted. The last 2 watch parties I've been to, the first was because of the debates, and this one was because the LA Dodgers were competing for the World Series of baseball against the Yankees. And my scream is that because we were watching the end of the game for an hour, and I probably wouldn't have watched this. I find the traditional sports to be just very much not as engaging as reality TV sports. But I watched this end of the baseball game and I got to see the Dodgers win the World Series with all of these Dodger fans. And it was a magical moment. So I'm very grateful to the Golden Bachelorette for getting me to watch this, because I felt like I lived a part of history.
Yeah, it really did. It was a great LA moment to be standing outside of 33 Taps in West Hollywood. It was a packed bar.
We couldn't even get in.
The Dodgers win.
We were on the street.
Yeah, we had to stand on the sidewalk. I agree. It was a magical moment. I would have probably not been in that exact location had it not been for Bachelor as well. I think I would have been like watching it at home or something, you know, much less interesting, not a part of the kind of group experience if you're here in Los Angeles. Yeah. Our condolences to all those Yankees fans who had to watch their mighty Yankees get wrecked in the World Series, losing 4-1. Wrecked. Blame it on Aaron Judge. I guess at least he did hit one home run. Shohei Ohtani hit none. That's not my screen.
Dang.
This is my screen, PaceCase. Are you ready for this?
Ohtani catching strays, even though he got him the World Series.
No, he's a great player. He just was terrible in the World Series. He's not as good as
the greatest Dodger player of all time, Sean Green.
Huh?
I don't know.
I think
how
he
you
is.
Don't know who that is.
I do know who it is, but I think he's better. I think Ohtani's better.
Yeah.
I think almost
really
everybody would agree that Ohtani is better. This is my scream. My scream is yesterday.
Disagree.
The entire day. I woke up.
Okay. Oh, no.
Well, not the entire day. I woke up and I went to the gym. Then I went to get my teeth cleaned at this dentist office.
All right. Didn't know we were doing full glam for the watch party.
It's just general upkeep so that the machine does not fail. I went to this dentist's office, and the dental hygienist, he's, squishing things around and doing the scrapings or whatever and taking x-rays and all the shit. And as he's got
least favorite thing,
the teeth cleaning
dentist. Yeah.
I don't mind it. I prefer it to probably the thing I hate the most is getting your face carved off for cancerous reasons. That was worse. Anyways, I'm sitting there and he essentially starts talking about Love is Blind. He's just
nowhere?
Yes, just making small talk, as some dentists and dental hygienists will do as they're got tools in your mouth. He's like, "Oh, you watching Love is Blind?" And I was like, yeah, do you watch it? And we had a whole conversation while he's drilling my teeth about Love is Blind, the reunion coming up last night, basically, who, we thought was going to get into fights and all this shit. And I left there being like, wow, it's coming to me now. I didn't even have to drag that guy. And then, of course, I told him about Game of Roses and you should listen to a podcast and blah, 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 blah. But he kind of did it himself.
Like, whoa, dude, I'm just trying to do small talk.
Yeah, no, he was down. He was into it. I didn't
actually watch.
He was peering over the precipice of the pit. All I had to do was go, come in. And he went right in. Then.
Well, it doesn't compete with when I had that Bachelor player as who did my cavity.
No, that is a step above. I agree. Mm-hmm. After this, we then had to do our live show at 4:30. That was maybe like an hour after I finished the tooth cleaning. Then we had our Love is Blind reunion I had to watch in between our live watch party and our live show that we did online. Then I had to go to the Golden Bachelorette watch party. Yesterday was like, it was just wall to wall. It never ended. I was just fucking immersed.
Chock full?
Yeah, it was chock full. It was a jacked up day.
Jacked up. Your day sounds so jacked up, dude.
Yeah, my day was chalk jacked. And I loved it. Like, I want every day to be that way. When I got home last night and I got into bed, like I went home after the watch party and I did some more shit. I posted my Clues Corner of the reunion, just was kind of online, dicking around, watching some videos, this and that. Yeah, basically all reality TV based. And when I finally got into bed, I was like, shit, I hope tomorrow has this much pit shit in it. And it doesn't. Wow. Unfortunately.
It doesn't. I'm sorry.
No. It has this.
We could record another episode after this if we want.
Can we?
Yeah.
Your bluff was called. All right. That was my scream. Now, if you watch this program,
I'll do a little Love is Blind or Love Island update.
Yeah. Let's do a Love is Blind reunion video. I'll do that.
Okay.
All right. You heard it here first. but that video will be out before this one is. So you'll be time traveling.
Perfect.
If you listen to this program with any regularity or you watch us on YouTube, which by the way, you should be doing that as well. You know, we're not the only two people screaming down here in the deepest, darkest part of the pit. We have others. There are others among us. And if you join us at patreon.com/Game of Roses, you're going to get access to our Discord that has a channel in it called Submit Your Screams. In that channel, you can upload a 1 minute or shorter audio or video format of your very own scream. What do you got?
Oh, I was just demonstrating 1 minute with a one finger.
I thought you were like shushing me, like, hang on. I thought you had something else to add. All right, let's. So we have one scream here.
Have I ever shushed you?
No, I thought you were like going to add something, you know.
I was just like, wait.
Yeah. All right. So we have one other.
Think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, dude. We have one other scream here that we're about to play. Anya goes through all of these and sends us the best ones. This one comes to us from Madison Perez. Let me know when you're ready. PaceCase.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Hey, PaceCase and Clues. This is Madison reporting directly from the source. I recently got into Dungeons & Dragons. After finding out a campaign can be based off of anything, I decided to become a dungeon master. I went on to create my own deep, dark pit campaign that blended our beloved game and the mythical elements of Dungeons & Dragons. My campaign was titled Goblin Wants a Wife. After the other pit I dwell in, Farmer Wants a Wife. The campaign included so many elements of our beloved game. The Fimp, group dates, place for time, love levels, and hometowns. I decided to cast for a new Dark Lord for my campaign, and it ended up being Howie Mandel. My friends played as a mix of contestants, producers, and even a demonic tiefling resembling Maddie Pruitt. In the end, the ring went to a very 4TRR JoJo Siwa. The game was insane and one of the best times I've ever had. I was able to drag family and friends deeper into the pit. I'd like to thank ChatGPT for doing all the legwork and Gore for all the inspo. Gore brings me so much joy. Thank y'all so much for everything you do.
Beautiful.
That was so sweet.
Yeah. I
Thank
love
you for
Goblin Wants a
listening.
Wife is probably the funniest thing I've heard in about 2 weeks.
Goblin Wants a Wife.
Yeah. Goblins notoriously
That could be an
are,
animated show.
you know, kind of mindless entities, mindless, evil little creatures. But
Dang.
this is not the first time I've heard of somebody doing a D&D campaign based on our beloved game. I get these DMs all the time. I think we've even maybe had a scream about another D&D campaign that was based on our beloved game.
I literally was like, have we heard this scream before when we were listening to it? I know there has been at least somewhat involved, but this, I don't know how Dungeons and Dragons work, but I appreciate this so much, and I'm glad that it allowed you to like get this extra element of enjoyment out of it. And I really want to know how you did this through ChatGPT. Do you just be like, make me a campaign for Dungeons and Dragons that's themed like this podcast or the book? What do you do?
This is what you do. I'm holding up a 20-sided dice. You may not be able to see it. This is how D&D works. This is just from my little dice collection back here. Back here. I play D&D with my buddies here at this very desk on a Zoom call, much like the one you and I are on, PaceCase, on an almost weekly basis, you see. But we never do any beloved game kind of enhancements. Anytime I try to bring that up with my old high school buddies, no, they don't like it. They don't like Bachelor. They don't think it's a sport.
Don't you just have to convince the one leader, the one person who does all the work?
You know who that one leader is? The dungeon master of our game? You've met him. He's come to our watch parties. I'm trying to drag him into the pit. That's right.
Josh Thorpe, why won't you let the beloved game in? Just
they're
let it
more
in,
like
Josh Thorpe.
They're more like D&D purists. It's more of a fantasy based, thing. But I love the scream.
Well, that's you only have to convince that one person, and then you just slowly do it, and maybe you make it like subtle names where you don't know exactly at first what it really is.
Right. When I name my character, it's like really... my character is named Nick Vial.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's weird. Mine is like Gormok the Destroyer and shit like that. And I'm Nick Vial. Okay. So this is what I would say about this. I love when you can combine different interests, and especially when one of those interests is our beloved game or Game of Roses, the pit, what have you. And when you can combine it with Dungeons and Dragons or video games or whatever else you may be into, that's always a good sign that the pit is overtaking you. When the fandom of reality TV starts branching into your other pastimes that are seemingly unrelated, you're on your way. You're on your way to the bottom for sure. That said, what I want to see next happen in our beloved game is a lead do a group date where they all have to play D&D. And I don't know if we're ever going to see that because it is, let's be real, a nerdly pursuit. I don't say that in a negative way. I myself play it, but it is a game for and made by predominantly fantasy nerds. I am one of these. No shame in it. I don't know if the show at large is ever going to want to present that to America. You know what I mean? Even if I'm sure you've had.
It would have to be like, it would be, okay, Taylor and Garrett break up from Love is Blind. Taylor becomes the Bachelorette. I feel like she could pull it off, where it's like, let's do this D&D thing, but it's like,
yeah, D&D is
sexy.
like way more mainstream now. You have YouTube channels like Critical Role and stuff that are just voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons that has millions of followers, and they've spawned TV shows and all kinds of stuff. It is like far more mainstream than it was, but it's like, it's in a different realm than Bachelor. And I think you definitely have had people,
men versus women.
No, I had plenty of women play for sure. But I think that
in my mind, that's the stereotype, is like, it's a bunch of men.
But I think that's like an outdated old kind of mode, like Critical Role. I mean, it blows that stereotype out of the water. I think there are definitely, what's that?
Is it all women?
No, but they have women in their group.
How many?
It varies because they have special guests and all kinds of stuff, but it's definitely
not. Are
there
any all women D&D groups?
Absolutely.
That are famous?
Are there any that are like super famous up there? No, all the big ones are like mixed gender, but our mutual friend, Ryan Keeley, has an all female D&D group with a podcast and all of that as well. I think that very likely they have had players and potentially even leads who indulge in D&D, but it just ain't in the show. And I think what it would require
Someone
is
brought it up on Love is Blind, didn't they?
Maybe.
I feel like they did.
Possibly. They've had it in 90 Day. There's a character in 90 Day right now that part of his intro package was like, I play D&D with my friends.
Which character?
What's that?
Which character?
He's a guy on, I think it's on Before the 90 Days. I forget his name.
I think that's what I'm watching right now.
It's the dude who has autism. At any rate, neither here nor there. I'm simply saying that for the game, for D&D to be brought into our beloved game, I think it's going to require a lead who is like, I love D&D. We are doing a D&D group date. Maybe we'll see that.
Joan.
Grant Ellis. Yeah, it's Joan. That's what the finals is. She dungeon masters a 2-way D&D game between the two finalists. I have to see how you play Dungeons and Dragons. See if you fit in with my lifestyle. At any rate, thank you so much, Madison Perez, for this Dungeons and Dragons Scream. We wish you luck on the campaign. If it's continuing, if it's already concluded, I hope you had a great time. And
I can't wait to see Goblin Wants a Wife, the TV show.
You'll be able to make that very soon with AI. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this week in Bachelor Nation. We're going to be back next week with coverage of The Men Tell All, which may or may not be interesting. We don't know. And of course, coverage of everything going on in Bachelor Nation throughout the week.
Praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.